I've been a lockdown skeptic all along, and I think the evidence now that lockdowns do far more harm than good is pretty overwhelming. There was recently, just today, or a couple of days ago anyway, a report from the National Bureau of Economic Research, which looked at the impact of lockdowns across every US state. And they looked at the impact on COVID mortality, on education, and on the economy. And they produced a composite score for each state and ranked them from 1 to 50. And the states which did the best, not surprisingly, in the top 10 are states like Florida, Utah, Nebraska, New Hampshire. The states that did the worst, according to this composite score, are California, New York, New Jersey, the District of Columbia, Illinois. And one of the things that these researchers found, and they included a professor of economics from the University of Chicago, was that there was really no relationship between the severity of lockdown measures, the length of lockdowns imposed, and COVID mortality. There's no signal in that noise, either positive or negative. The number of COVID deaths per 100,000 were about the same in California as they were in Florida, even though California had one of the most severe lockdowns in the United States and Florida one of the least severe. So it's pretty clear that lockdowns exact appalling costs, economic costs, costs in terms of mental health, costs in terms of lost days in school by children, and have no impact, no discernible impact on reducing COVID mortality. But that's a message that the politicians are very reluctant to absorb. They don't want to admit that they made a mistake. They don't want to be punished at forthcoming elections because they made this dreadful, catastrophic error. So we have to look for other ways to try and restrain them. And I think in this is actually a great way of restraining Boris. I mean, to give him his due, he did lift all restrictions on Freedom Day last July. He came under enormous pressure to reimpose them over Christmas and resisted. And he now has, announced that he's embracing this living with COVID strategy. But the other day he did say, I'm not going to rule out imposing another lockdown. Well, I think now he has to rule it out because it would just be politically impossible for him to again ask the population of Britain to observe laws that he himself, the police have concluded, broke. That would be politically impossible for him to do. And I think that's a reason for keeping him in office. If he was replaced by Jeremy Hunt, even Michael Gove, the drumbeat for another lockdown is now becoming quite deafening from all the usual suspects, Independent Sage, NHS Panjandrums, the NHS Confederation, and so on and so forth. Someone like Jeremy Hunt or Michael Gove would have us all locked down again tomorrow. Boris can't do that because it would just be politically impossible.